Cold weather bats, and we're back. And a little bit technology stripped in this version of Cold Weather Bats. This is Brandon Justice, joined by Michael Rubenstein. How are we all doing? Hope better than me. Hope better than me. I've had some technology problems this week, and so I've got a replacement MacBook on the way. But for today's episode, I'm on my phone, and for the last 5 seasons, I think this will be upcoming. I guess you could technically call this the sixth season of Cold Weather Bats. We've had pretty good audio for the most part. We've never really had too many audio problems. Maybe like in the first season here and there, but this is probably the worst I've probably ever sounded on the show. So I just want to get ahead of that at the top of the show here and explain that my laptop has conceded defeat to the universe, I suppose, because its time has ran out. So rest in peace to the MacBook Pro. All right, that's enough about the microphone, Michael. How we doing?
I must admit, it doesn't sound too bad on my end of things, but we'll let the listeners be the judge of that. But I'm good. I'm good. It was a tough sports weekend here for the entire state, so I think I'm still reeling from that a bit. But other than that, things are good. It's fall in Michigan. What more could you actually really want? Can't get
Right.
much better than that. And ready to soak it all up. We're doing a little Zubu action with the little ones this week, so it should be lots of fun, and just taking a step away from sports to have some family time this upcoming week. So it should be a good time to take in some fall.
Yeah, it absolutely should. Michael, famously the fourth co-host of Go Weather Bats, to be married with a family, or I guess third. Or second, because Brian married, not family yet. You and Dan both married, both family. Dan still rotating in as a co-host as well, still co-weather bats family member. I famously am the one that's not married with kids yet as a part of the show. But we've all got to have a token uh, part of the program, I suppose. So family time sounds great. I think I'm going to the apple orchard with Becca this weekend, so that should be fun.
There you
Got
go.
to kick those things about that time of the year. But
Yep.
as for the baseball world, look, whenever we have cold weather bats in the fall or the winter, it is usually like in the winter time, we're coming up with the player draft and the coaches draft and team draft and all that good stuff. And those are always fun. And like right now, we're doing the top 100, and then those types of off-season things are fun. But when we get to the show, there's not a whole lot of content to go off of, so it does become more conversational. But anyone who's been here from the beginning knows that that's kind of like the origins of the show. If Brian and I never had that OG banter back in the day, I don't think we've made it as far as we've had. So get ready for that during the off season. Like there's probably going to be a little bit more just back and forth that's not directly related to the second baseman's play between Lake Orion and Adams or something. You know what I mean? That's just how it's going to have to go. So, but today's show, we still find a way where it's still very action packed with baseball. We'll start off talking about the top 100. We've talked about the top 100 all off season. We'll continue to roll it out throughout. Right now we're doing 2 weeks in a row, off a week, 2 weeks in a row, off a week. That gets us to March, just in time for the season. And it's exciting because, hey, I think my biggest deficiency last year in the show was really not knowing as many kids as I used to know. But I'll give credit where it's due. Like it's hard to know everything about these players because there are so many good ones and so many that participate in events across the state, whether it's PBR, perfect game, or whatever it is. So it's hard to keep up. There's always like the initial notion that the showcase kids are quote unquote like that's a subgenre of baseball. I don't really buy that stuff, but like they exist and all that. But my point is, we've gotten to a point where it's really hard to know a whole lot about this whole state of baseball. Very unpredictable. There is no like definitive number one like there has been in maybe past years. And I feel like last year I didn't know enough about the players, but doing this top 100 list has really given me the opportunity to learn a lot. Tried really hard with this to see with a wider lens across the state. You'll see several different schools covered on the list so far, and we're only up to 86. Plenty of different areas. We've covered the west side, we've covered the Saginaw Valley area, we've covered southeast in the Metro Detroit area, we've been north of Detroit, we've been south of Detroit. We've gone northwest, southwest, so we've had plenty of areas covered, and we will continue to. So we'll do 90 to 86 today. We'll also talk to you guys about a new giveaway we're doing with a new partnership we have. Talk a little bit more about Pison, and then lastly, we'll get with Broder Katke, who just committed to Vanderbilt, the brother Rice catcher. Nice interview, great interview, really, with him.
Fantastic
Uh,
interview.
so get to hear from someone who, if you're a player on the call, I mean, I think it's a really good interview if you're a player, just to hear like a peer speak on doing something at the highest level, right? I mean, all of you guys out there who are players, I'm sure if Vanderbilt called your name, you'd be pretty excited. Some of you probably have heard from them in some capacity, and no, it might not be the best fit for all of you, but it is sort of one of those schools that set the standard, right? And so anyone who's afforded the opportunity to go there, like Katke was, if I'm your age, I'd listen to him. I'd want to know what he has to say.
Yeah.
He's doing it at the highest level. I'd love to know his opinion on things and just hear from the way he carries himself and all that. It's all very educational, I think, and definitely just a good conversation. So, we're in an era where people love podcasts and people are listening to podcasts on their drives home more than they're listening to music. Old folks used to do it back in the day. It was just sports television or sports radio instead, which some of them still do that too. And so if I'm listening intentionally, I feel like this is a great example of that. For someone out there just likes a good conversation, I think it's a good example of that too. So that'll be at the end of the show, and plenty of cover to today. Nice little stutter there, huh? Plenty to cover today. See, the difference between me and other
Ta-ta-ta-ta.
the difference between me and other people who podcast is I won't pretend that didn't happen. I'm just gonna keep rolling with it. But all right, let's dive into the top 100. And Michael, what have your thoughts been so far? I mean, we're not too deep into the top 100 quite yet. We're only up to 86. But if you think about it, we're inching closer to 25% of the way through. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier, seeing players covered from all areas. What are your thoughts so far?
I think it's the same thing I've said for a couple episodes now. The state of Michigan has really good baseball, and this is just going to be the biggest example of that. And once again, going through these names, going through all the names we have throughout this entire list, these are really good baseball players that are a lot of them are going to make immediate impacts, whether they're on varsity or beyond. And we have some guys that are younger compared to they might not be juniors or seniors or incoming juniors. There's a lot of these players that are going to play big roles on their teams this coming spring, and I'm really excited to see from all the videos that we saw from the summer, all of the metrics we're seeing as we go through it, talking with these coaches and these scouts. I'm really excited to see as we get through this off season the development of not only just these handful of players, but really all this entire list and where they could all end up with it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, let's get right to it. I mean, it's sort of an ironic start. We're going to start with Jack Halberstadt. He comes in at number 90. Yes, he plays for the team I coach, Wyandotte Roosevelt. I can promise you that anyone who knows me knows that I have always made honest evals on my own players, especially if not more critical ones than others. And what I can tell you about Jack is, outside of the basics, for those who don't know him, he's a junior, 6 foot 3.5, 6'4", about 225. He's a 2-year starter as a freshman and a sophomore. He was our ace last year. I mean, we had two aces. Him and McGowan were both very good at many things for us. But Jack was statistically better, but Jaden obviously still very important. So no discredit to him by any means. But all the same, Halberstadt was really came out as like a front of the line guy last year. So I don't want to speak about it on like a coach's behalf quite yet. I'll do that probably after the fact. But just to give you like a quick rundown on what you're looking at with Halberstadt, I mean, he's just a big body right-handed hitter, two-way, goes on the mound, doesn't throw it super hard. I think he will soon because, I mean, 6 foot, nearly 4 and 225 should throw 90 plus. Like that's if you
Yeah.
got if you there's not a whole lot of conversation beyond that. I'm sure Max Bain can say it in a much more articulate way than I can, but I think he should throw 90. You know what I mean? But the thing is, when you're developing a player or pitcher, which I'm not very good at, and I've been honest about that with him. But others have worked with him, and he's done really well for himself. But the thing is with him, I think he's going to throw 90 plus. But usually, when you're dealing with a player and you're developing a pitcher, you're thinking, I want him to throw hard, and then he throws hard, but he doesn't have any pitchability. He's on the opposite end of that. He's got pitchability as is. There's plenty of examples out there, but not all of them are 6'4", 225, and that's kind of my point. He was awesome last year in the league. He had an ERA of 0.7. We're in a really good league. Downriver League's easily one of the top 4 leagues in the state, in my opinion. And, state finalists 2 out of the last 5 years from Woodhaven. Woodhaven's obviously a power. Trenton's been in the state finals and the Final Four. So, really, it's who he pitched against for me that shined out when comparing him to other players across the state. He had the chance last year to go up against Southgate, Woodhaven, Grosse Pointe South, Trenton, Bloomfield Hills, and Anchor Bay. Also threw a true complete game no hitter against Etzel Ford, who went to the regional final, and just really impressed with what he did in the mound. But then you carry that over to what he did at the plate. He hit north of 300 for us, hit 333, he had 34 hits. 13 for 13 with stolen bases. He had, 7 doubles and a triple. We'd like to see the extra base hits go up. He almost hit probably about 5 out, so we hope that those go out this year. But, where he was really productive at the plate was in the summer. He played for the Michigan Monarchs and had an awesome summer. I'm trying to find it on here. I know I wrote it down. He hit 511 and 94 at bats with a 1.38 OPS. He had 20 extra base hits and 52 RBIs. So, really, really, really productive year for Halberstadt. And as a rising junior, kind of just now coming into his own, did a couple of camps for some bigger schools. So, think things are coming for him for sure. Keep an eye on him. Great player, awesome kid. Was a captain as a sophomore last year. Will more than likely be a captain again this year and in the following year. Only reason I can't say he will is because I literally can't say that he will. But I would imagine, based on the evidence that he was a captain here prior, he will be one again. Michael, you've seen him on video. I've obviously shared. We have coach speak about during the season, outside the season, all that. So, what have you seen from Halberstadt in your limited amount of time being able to watch him virtually?
You touch on all of the pitching aspects of it. I see, I'm more of an offensive first guy, and very first thing is his swing at plays. I really like how he gets nice and wide and really is able to drive the ball and using all of his levers in a really strong way. You hit on everything from the pitching standpoint. You've been sending me stuff on this guy, I feel like, for as long as it has been.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of just he's oozing potential, and he's really another one where, like I just said, I'm looking forward to seeing how some of these players develop throughout the offseason. This is another one that you can see, from just the little bits of these swings and watching him throw, that you see like the oozing of the potential. And if he just fine tunes a hair or two more things, that it's just going to explode come come in the spring for you as a pitcher, as a hitter, as everything.
Yeah.
It's very obviously why he was a captain. He can play.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I say he doesn't throw hard. He still throws mid eights. Like he's still an 84, 85 low 3/4 slot guy. And that low
Yeah.
3/4 slot from that high of an angle, it really creates an axis for a hitter that's hard to follow. It's hard to pick up on. He's mixing 2 breakers in there. And he had great games. He had great wins. I think his best performance was obviously the complete game no hitter against Edsel. But I would say that if you asked him or if you asked the team, it was his 6 inning outing against Woodhaven where he only allowed 1 hit and scattered, I think, 10 or 11 Ks across that time as well. And he was just awesome that day. He was super dominant that day. It wasn't his most offensively dominant day, but, he was awesome on the mound for us. And he's definitely somebody that, I think could be higher on this list. But, when you coach him and you make the list, It's a little difficult, right? So I told him he'll probably move up the list with a little more undeniability. So we'll see what happens there. Long-winded way of saying that's number 90, Jack Halberstadt, but happy we got to spend the time on him.
Yep.
We'll move on to number 89, which is Josh Vanderloot from Hudsonville. I'm going to say Vanderloot. I think that's what it is. If I'm
Yep.
wrong, I apologize.
Josh,
He's from
let us know.
Hudsonville. But hey, listen, this is a guy that where we get into the portion of the list where it's like not a lot of people have seen him uh, quite yet. I know he hasn't done anything at the varsity level that I've known or that I've known of that I can find online. But he had a great summer on the circuit. Went to future games, did really
Yep.
well, shined on a stage where players are probably, I would say, the teams he's playing against. Those lineups are better than what he's going to see in high school baseball routinely. I would, there's a couple of teams that might be able to stack up against that. Probably not. Any future games lineup, I think, is probably the best you're going to see, and for that respective age group, of course. So now he comes back. He's a junior, and you're at Hudsonville, and that's constantly replenishing talent. It's really hard to go to a big school and play right away, and it's very similar to the college game where a kid is maybe afraid of that competition and maybe even impatient with that competition, right? And it's harder to do that in high school. It's almost impossible to do it in the MHSAA. Go to a school your freshman year, transfer out, and go play your sophomore year. That doesn't really happen almost ever. And if it does, it's for some extraneous circumstances, something that happened that we don't know, whether it's family or an emergency or whatever it is. This kid stuck it out though, right? And he stuck through his freshman sophomore year as a stud. I mean, he had like 19 Ks in like an outing for Hudsonville at one point during the season. He was posting like 15 to 19 Ks on average per game. It was JV level, yeah, but I mean he is dominating at that stage, right? And now you can keep your eye on how he does in the summer circuit. All right. Because here's what we don't want to do here. What we don't want to do is ignore that players are coming to play for better teams this
Yep.
year that weren't there last year. It's our duty as trying to be the premier coverage of the state to make sure that we know who's coming up, right? We do the team previews, but the team previews don't really come until the coaches can really understand what the shape of the roster is going to be, and that's not till January, February. Technically, it can't be till the third day of tryouts, but you get an idea of what it is January, February, and once you do that, you're able to submit your team preview. If I was asked to submit a team preview right now, I'd have no idea what to do. But what I can do is go see, okay, I know this kid's coming up for them, and given what they lost, Hudsonville had a lot of seniors last year. Let's tell you about Vanderlucht, but just know that's why you don't know him yet. But this kid's going to be really legit for them. Again, I wrote this in the blog. How does blank keep doing it? You ask yourselves that about plenty of schools in the state. Hudsonville's one of them, and it's because they continue to replenish guys like him.
Yep.
Loaded with senior talent last year. This guy's a two-way lefty. I love lefties. Everybody does. Runs it up to 87 from the left side on the mound. Ton of pop in the bat. Told you about the strikeout rate. That carried over into the future games where he faced elite lineups with a fastball slider mix. Again, running it up, sitting in the low eight or sitting in the mid eights with a ton of arm side run. But the thing that I was most impressed with was the strike to ball ratio. He threw a ton of strikes, enough to where PBR was even posting on social media pointing out the strike to ball ratio he had out there, which is something that you love to see. We'll
Pounds of
see what
sound.
comes. A lot of times we talk about stats, and this is very performance based. I don't have performance metrics on him. I've seen him play, and I really like the stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be one of the better left-handers in the state either this year or next year. I do think it's good enough to put him at 89 because when he's running it up that high from the left side, you get Uli Fernsler vibes, right? So
And it's a very easy mid to upper eights from him. Like there's a lot that it just looks easy out of the hand. Like it's on you. It's on you fast. He's got multiple pitches. He pounds his zone. This is, again, like you just said, this is a pitcher that you're going to see a lot of over the next couple of years.
yeah, absolutely. Big kid. I think he's long and lanky. He's going to put on pretty good weight over this year. This is where we see the most maturity in players, their sophomore to junior year. And
Yep.
while let me try and paint this picture. There's a bunch of different ways to do this, coach baseball and run a high school program. When you're at Hudsonville and you've got, you know, let's say 60 plus kids trying out, maybe more. I don't know how many, but they probably got 50 kids trying out for varsity, right? And you're able to have a kid like him who I don't know the details. Maybe he was just a little bit wild around the plate as a freshman or a sophomore, but you see the potential. But you want him to have innings, so you leave him on JV to get those starter innings that he's not going to get on varsity. Whereas like where I'm at Wyandotte, Halberstadt, he's got 2 years of experience with varsity going into his junior year. Is that valuable? Yes. But he had to kind of jump in with the piranhas, and learn things as he went. And he swam, but not everybody swims. A lot of people either drown or they're just severely put back. And some people do swim. And it has a lot to do with the coaching and the support system and all that. But Hudsonville's a place where a kid can be patient and he's ready. You can kind of slow play that. It's kind of like we talk about, oh, did the Tigers move up torque too fast back in the day, right? Very similar. I think people don't understand how similar those things can actually be, despite it being a huge difference between, pro baseball club management and high school baseball management. But it's still, at the end of the day, it's people management, it's development, it's player development, and a bunch of different ways to do it. Some people inherit a situation where you can be patient. Some get fast tracked. Halberstadt and Vanderbilt, two different examples of that, and they are number 90 and 89. That takes us to 88. Mentioned it earlier. We're going to cover the Saginaw area a bit today, and that comes in with Jackson Hartley out of Swan Valley. Different player than the others, but he was really, really good offensively. He is a senior, and he's going. I think he's going to SVSU.
Saginaw Valley.
Saginaw Valley State. Yeah, he's going to Saginaw Valley State. Hit 400 last year in high school baseball. Had an OPS over 1,000, 22 RBIs, 23 walks, 36 stolen bases. Where it gets really crazy is what he done on the mound. He's not much of a flamethrower, so to speak, but he's got a ton of good stuff and gets a lot of outs. He does throw 90 plus and have a 6.5 yard dash from the outfield. But on the mound, more like I think he's like a mid eights guy. Don't quote me on that. But he had 67 innings pitched, 119 Ks to 18 walks, a 1.3 ERA, and a 201 batting average against. So he was truly a Swiss Army knife for Swan Valley. He's a really scrappy player that's got a ton of talent to match. And when those two things marry, you get a really, really good player. When a kid's throwing at 90 plus from the outfield with a 6.5 or with a 6.5 60, and then can go on the mound and get you a bunch of strikeouts whenever you need it, and he's going to throw strikes as well. Because again, 119 Ks to 18 walks, and then you can put him at the top of your order, and he can hit gap to gap. He can turn singles into doubles with hustle. If he walks, he makes it a double because he swipes second. Again, nearly 40 stolen bases. Really, really like Hartley as a player.
This is just your typical player that you love to insert in your lineup because he just gets it done. Like throws well on the mound, puts the ball in play, runs, plays good outfield. I mean, he was second team All State. It just tells you right there at a school like that, it's fantastic. So he's a perfect fit for what SVSU likes to do, and it's going to be a good year for Jackson, I'm sure, this upcoming year.
All right. Next up, we've got number 87, Jaden Amaral from Mona Shores. Mona Shores, pretty solid program overall. Good athletic department in general, I would say, historically speaking. Shout out Justin Ablocator, former player. I was in middle school, I think, when he played against Trenton in the state finals. I don't know who won. I just remember that being a thing because he ended up on the wings when I was in high school, and so that was a whole ordeal. So shout out Mona Shores. Jaden Amaral committed to Davenport, a historically powerful Division II program. Really like the hit tool and the speed combo. Again, very similar in that regard to who we just spoke about, but where he really, really shines is that he's got a 94.6 exit velocity according to PBR. So, it's not just, hey, solid contact, barrel finder with speed. That plays really well in high school. You don't always see that translate in college. You might not even see it translate to where they become a prospect beyond that because they're limited. I don't see that with Amaral. I think the head control, which I was really astounded by, like he finishes every swing looking down, and it, to me, I think sometimes that can restrict you because you're not going to be able to maybe get through the ball and around the ball and be able to extend through the ball fully because you're still keeping that part of your torso down. But I mean, it's what they teach you to do. So I just never seen anybody do it so good. So maybe I'm just overthinking that, you know. And then on top of that, he runs a 6'5", 960. So again, another one of those multi-tool guys who does a lot for a team. As far as I can tell, doesn't pitch. But again, one of those guys who is going to give you everything he can give you at the plate as a high contact tool, a little bit of power as well, and then runs the bases really well and gets around.
Just another typical Davenport commit, puts the ball in play, can hit the ball hard, very fundamentally sound with his swing and how he is defensively. Just like I said for Saginaw, this is a perfect fit for what Coach Tidy wants in all of his players at Davenport. I know that from personal history, from players I've sent there, and this is Jaden's just going to be another good fit there, and just another Mona Shores player that's going to do quite well.
All right, next up we got Jimmy Saquon. Who knows? We'll love to figure out what the
The
correct
third,
the third, of course. Would love to figure out the right pronunciation of that at some point. I will, I promise. I apologize in advance, but I think we're going to be talking about this kid a lot. Rising sophomore, Bay City Western, very similar to Vanderluke, just different type of player and different timing. Vanderluke waited until his junior year, but now Saquon going into his sophomore year, I think becomes a star for Bay City Western as in the lineup. Anyone who's been listening to this show from the beginning remembers Ryan McKay. He was like a co-host a couple of times for the player draft and team draft, or at least he was twice for the player draft. But everyone remembers Ryan McKay if you paid attention to high school baseball a few years ago because he was on those St. Mary's teams and was one of those prominent players for them, starting second baseman, et cetera, et cetera. Reminds me a lot of him, man. Just one of those like thick bodies, very physical, lefty swing or lefty swing, righty thrower, middle infielder. The only difference is Saquon can go on the mound and throw, mid eights for you and be a
yep.
really effective pitcher. I mean, and that's I think what he'll end up doing this year is eating a lot of innings for Bay City Western, on top of probably playing shortstop or second base. Don't know enough about the dynamics of what they have coming back up the middle to tell you which. I know he's extremely capable. I think McKay's glove tool and McKay's glove tool was elite when he was 12. Like, and it always was. It was his pretty much him and his swing, his contact tool and his glove tool were always present. Always from I met him when he was 12, I think, or 13, and that was from that point on. He always had that. It was the power that came along that changed his game, and that came through some physical. The biggest thing that came after that was speed. Well, Saquon's kind of on the similar trajectory where this summer we saw a lot of power, a lot of it, including there was one where he came and played in Michigan and hit 2 home runs in a game, I believe, or at least two in a day, for I think Michigan Select or one of those teams, Wow Factor, I don't know, one of them. But was really, really a big fan of him on the summer circuit. The swing is extremely smooth. It's McKay with I think more power. Really, like honestly, is what it projects as. I don't know if the glove's going to be as elite as McKay's was. I don't know if the speed's going to be as great as it ended up being for McKay, but I do know that the power is there in a big way for him. Short stance where he long and wide stance, but gets low. So I say
What's
short
up, puts
stance.
down, and the swing goes.
Yeah, I mean he gets into his legs. The barrel whip
Big
is
time.
ridiculous. The
Yeah.
bat speed is really beyond his years. I was I was just taken back when I saw this player. Think he should be higher. I just can't justify it because I haven't seen him yet on this circuit, and I haven't seen him enough on the summer circuit. I think he's a top 50 player at his best this year. He's a top 50, top 30 guy at best this year. I think at worst it's 100-ish, but I just don't see how this guy doesn't make a ton of impact right away for Bay City Western.
I'll go on a limb. I think this might, like, just from what I've seen, and again, refamiliarizing myself with it right now and watching some of this, this might even be higher than top 50. Like, this swing is one of the best swings I've seen from a high school baseball player in quite a while, let alone the fact this kid's a 2028.
Right.
It's a really impressive swing, and I could knock you here and there for you just like I do as well. We both like to say this player reminds me of X that I coached. You are completely right on the McKay correlation here. I see it in the swing, the stature, how he handles the barrel. Like this
Yeah,
is,
that's what the barrel is crazy.
yeah, this is one I'm very excited to see throughout this season and into the spring, the off season into the spring for sure here.
Yeah, one thing to point out before we move on to the next segment
Yeah,
with the top 100 is that barrel control is something. If you're a player listening to this, or if you're, I I hesitate to say this, if you're a parent as well, barrel control is very important. Maybe bring it up to your kid too. If there's anything you're going to bring up to your kid, talk to them about barrel control. I mean, it'll, it might be the most important thing. I think there's a lot of things that are the most important things with hitting, to the point where they are so important that you have to find a way to almost not think about them. They have to become repeatable in your body and your muscle memory. They need to do them, because if you start thinking about them, there's too many things to think about. But barrel control of all of them at this level, no barrel control, maybe not when you're in elementary, not when we get into club ball like 10U and all that stuff. But when you get to like 12U and up, barrel control should be at the top of your mind, honestly, because it changes everything, and nothing else is going to work at its best unless we have that. You can move your body fast. You could keep your head down. You could get through your extension grade. None of it matters if you don't find barrels in an efficient way. And I think that's what this kid does extremely well. I think that's what set McKay apart. And I think that's why we're reminded of him so much outside of the stature. The measurables are very similar. But really, the barrel control is so, so, so elite with this kid. And that's why I'm such a huge fan.
yeah, and that's like you said, that's what can really dictate if you're going to be a D1, a D2, or a D3
Yep.
player at the end of the day too. If you have that barrel control and you're able to do that, that can bump you up a handful of levels pretty quickly if you're able to do that. Because everyone's going to have the same, to an extent, those same metrics with the exit velocities and how hard kids throw to an extent. But it's how you're able to use those tools, how you're able to use that barrel can really help you out.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, that does it for the top 100 for this week. That is 90 through 86. And that takes us into our next segment before we hit the interview. We've got a new giveaway coming soon. Mike will tell us a little bit about this giveaway and this new partnership. Very
Yeah,
exciting
we
stuff.
we we're very excited for this partnership. If you've been streaming this on YouTube, you'll notice in our bottom line here we have a new logo in the bottom right hand corner. That's going to be Just Bats. For those of you that are not familiar with Just Bats, they are really the OG of where you would go and get your bats for the season, whether it was your metal bats, your trainers, your wood bats. That's the place to go get it. And we are really excited to partner up with them. They are able to provide everything you need for a bat and then some. So if you are on YouTube streaming this, you'll see in the top right hand corner, you are able to scan that QR code. You can shop Just Bats and you can support the show right on Just Bats on their website. Couple cool things that is available for you if you are going to take advantage of using Just Bats. Free ground shipping. It is out to you that same day as well if you buy it before 7 p.m. Central Time. I know that there was an order I put through about a week ago. It went out literally within an hour. I had a tracking number and it was out of their warehouse out in, I think it's Missouri. So it gets to you, and I think it got to me in 2 days. So it's something that's really awesome. They have bat experts to help you out if you don't know what to pick. If you're a parent or if you're a player and you're really struggling, what's best for me, whether you want balanced, end loaded, whatever it might be, they have people there to help you for $30 additional from your bat. They have what they call their bat assurance program. So if you try it out, it's not a fit for you, you can return it, get a full refund, and you can get your bat engraved for that through them. And really, they work in close confinements with Baseball Bat Bros. If you are on Twitter, on TikTok, or on Instagram, and you are a baseball follower, you, I'm sure, are familiar with them and how they do things. That leads us into really the giveaway we're going to be doing in conjunction with them. Coming out literally today, Thursday, October 16th, they are releasing their limited edition combat models, their MFG Spec A1. We are going to be doing a giveaway for the Golf Racer. That is going to be the bat, if you're looking on your screen, is on the far right. I must say, Brandon, their limited edition bats, they're pretty cool. They got 3 different designs here. We got their Golf Racer for one, their Baja, which is the one in the middle, and then their A1 Stang on the left there. And these are not only just cool looking bats, they are some of the best bats that really you can get. I know I mentioned that Baseball Bat Bros a moment ago. They, of course, if you are familiar with them, they do ratings and rankings on every single type of bat out there. Well, the best BB Core bats of 2025 are no other than these Combat MFG Spec A1 bats you see here. And we will be giving one of these away in the coming days, in the coming weeks. So be sure to stay tuned on all of our social medias as we unveil that. And be sure to throw your hat into the entry for this giveaway here.
Yeah, it'll be free when it's up. No reason not to try. It's legitimate. There's no real requirements outside of signing up. So, the Bat Bros scale obviously very important to the kids these days, and very high on it. I asked around to some of the players I knew; they all spoke very highly of it. So, looking forward to doing that, and hopefully doing some cool things with just bats for the foreseeable future. But with that being said, that takes us into our interview segment with Broder Katke from Brother Rice. Michael, great conversation with him. Let's get right into it. All right, welcome into another Cold Weather Bats commitment segment, one of the newest commits in the state. We're here with Broder Katke, committed to Vanderbilt. Don't really have to say a whole lot about that. Vanderbilt might be the best brand in college baseball historically, I would say. Having been in high school in the 2010s, I would say Vanderbilt really dominated that era. Tim Corbin, obviously one of the most legendary coaches in the game. The coaching staff is loaded, as we know, a lot of championship pedigree. And then, lest we forget, the academics, obviously extremely high there as well. So we'll start off with just saying congratulations, Broder, on your commitment. It has to be an awesome feeling. Apart from all the baseball stuff, apart from all the nitty gritty of it all, how does it feel to just kind of have this process over with? We'll talk a little bit about how high profile of a prospect you've been, but what kind of relief you feeling here?
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was good. It was great. I kind of took the whole process in, like one visit at a time. You kind of only get to do this once in your life. I know I was committed earlier in 8th grade, but you really only get to like do all the visits and take all the pictures and go with your family once. It was an extremely hard decision. All the schools I visited were all awesome institutions. But overall, yeah, Coach Corbin, that whole staff, Vanderbilt's just a winning culture, and they got a great degree. So it's just kind of like can't go wrong. It's an awesome school.
So for you, what was the what was the important stuff? I mean, when you're going through this, not many people are deciding between the schools that you're deciding between. Especially, we highlight Michigan players every year, and there's always a few per class that have these opportunities, but not many of them. So, what's it like to have these options, and what were you looking at when you were going through the process as priorities?
It was awesome. So pretty early on, since I was getting recruited in 8th grade or whatever it was, I kind of had like a list of the requirements and everything I wanted to be in a school. And Vandy kind of fit all those requirements. It's a great degree. It's a top 15 degree in the country. It's an acceptance rate below 4%. And it's such an amazing winning culture. And at Vanderbilt, when you kind of think of Vanderbilt, you think of Tim Corbin. And I think Coach Corbin not only is such a winner on the baseball field, but he creates such awesome and great people. So just the people being grinders and being great people kind of leads to a winning culture.
So with Vanderbilt obviously being known as not only as one of the top baseball programs, but very strong academically too, how much did that balance or factor into your decision?
It was a lot. Ever since I was a young kid, my parents have kind of always instilled academics in me. So it's something. Brother Rice is a very high academic school. I was at Country Day before, another very high academic school. So academics have kind of just always been a big part of my life, and I figured I would love to get a great degree. It's a kind of like a life plan instead of just like a 3-year plan in college, right? A Vanderbilt degree kind of sets you up for life. So that was a big part of it.
Well, apart from recruiting, I mean, in order to be recruited, you have to be recruitable. You have to be a player. You have to have talent. And, as you mentioned, you've been recruited since 8th grade. You're number 45 overall in the country right now by PBR, number 1 overall in the state. With 2027, you play an ultra premium position in catcher. Tell us about Broder Katke, the player. What made you stand out over the last few years to look like the type of player that you've molded yourself into to have the opportunity to go play at Vanderbilt?
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm not really a big rankings guy, to be honest. They don't really mean anything to me. It's kind of just another number. I mean, it's cool to have, but it's not really a big deal. But it's a lot of hard work, to be honest, and a lot of belief in yourself. That's kind of been instilled like by my mom and my dad, kind of them always believing in me, and then that transferring over to me, where like I'm really believing in myself and believing like I'm the best, right? That's kind of the mindset you have to have in baseball. It's such a mental sport, but a ton of hard work. Coach Tony for the Hit Dogs, that's been my guy since I was 9 years old. So a ton of credit to him. A ton of credit to Coach Harrison. That's another one of my guys. He's like huge mentor for me, and really the reason why I'm pretty good defensively. And then yeah, kind of back to Coach Tony. Been playing for him since I was 9 years old. So more than half my life, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, it's great. Kind of those guys and my family kind of like molded me into the player and person I am today.
All right, so you spoke about your family and how much they had to do with your decision in terms of just pushing you with academics and kind of making you into the person that you are today. So just speak a little bit about your family. It seems like that would feel good for you to get off your chest with a platform like this.
Yeah, they're awesome. My mom and dad went on all the visits with me. My little brother came on one. He came to Vanderbilt. I think the coaches might actually like him more than they like me, but that's fine. But my mom and dad are great. They've kind of always raised me to keep my head down, be humble. That's like where the rankings not really being a big deal to me come from, right? My dad doesn't really care. My mom doesn't really care. They just want me to get better and better. So I'm so thankful for them and everything they kind of sacrifice and have done for me.
Shifting gears a little bit, just talking high school baseball. I mean, Brother Rice, it's one of those schools that kind of sets the standard for high school baseball is in Michigan. A ton of talented players on that team every year, year in, year out. I know you guys got a talented class at each level here, but your freshman class last year coming in as sophomores this year, a lot of people are excited about that group. Now you combine it with what you guys have as juniors and seniors. It seems like you guys return a pretty big part of your core. Talk a little bit about your high school team and expectations for the spring.
I mean, I could go on and on about Brother Rice. It's such an awesome place. Shout out DJ LeMahieu. That facility is amazing. We use it every day. So thankful for that. We're so privileged. Coach Riker, Coach Galley, Coach Steele, all those guys are amazing. They're a huge part of like the brand of Brother Rice and the culture, what you get when you're coming there. But the team's awesome. The seniors, the last 2 years and the year before, set kind of like the standard and how Brother Rice should be left, right? Coach Riker's motto is leave it better than you found it. So all the seniors. We had, I think, 10 that went on to play college baseball my freshman year. And then Blake, Cash, Cole, Evan, all those dudes, they kind of set the standard of like what a leader is and what Brother Rice baseball is. So we got 2 more great seniors this year, Cole Duham and Tristan Turner. Cole's gonna have a monster year. Monster year. The dude's working his tail off, and Tristan's just as hard working, man. He's coming back off some ACL surgery, but he's gonna have a huge spring as well. And then, kind of like you said, the class below, Neshoff kind of leads that class, right? That kid's a very polished hitter already with some really good tools. And you got Hafner, Mino, Manny, Cam, Sutton, all these dudes, right? It's so hard to talk about all of them. All of them are going to be key pieces to us going to win a state championship, right? And then my grade, Grady Preston's great. Michael Stanton's great. Griffin Delusky was a huge part in our success last year. Really, we wouldn't have been as far as we were without Griffin and Grady. Grady coming out of the bullpen and Griffin really stepping up to be that third starter. So I can't wait for I can't wait for the spring. All these freshmen are in there. We're all grinding. We carpool 5 kids after school. I got 6 guys in my trunk. I don't even know what to do with them. All the freshmen after school, so we're all getting after it. I can't wait. It's going to be a great spring.
I saw a video of Cole in the facility this either today or the past couple of days, and it
Yeah.
is very impressive what you guys have there now. It rivals probably what a lot of colleges have and then some. So very impressive there. Now to shift it a little bit, obviously you're down in Jupiter right now for it's a WWBA, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So you're down in Jupiter for WWBA. Walk us through. I mean, you're committed to Vanderbilt now. What are you looking to do? What's your goal down there for this tournament that you're down there playing in?
I want to go win. Plain and simple. I want to go
Yeah.
win, and just be the best player I can be. Go ball out. I got to see some of the Vandy guys, some of the coaches today, so
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And kind of talking to them, like whoever they want me to go and recruit and help be a Vandy boy, I'm going to go do. So kind of talk to them about that, and then just going and winning ball games.
So for those that are listening that aren't familiar with Jupiter in this tournament, walk us through what you see on a day-to-day basis, because this is really one of the end-all be-all tournaments.
Yeah, it's crazy. We walked in there, and I'm not kidding when I say this, probably 100 golf carts around just these 4 fields, and there's 16 fields. Scouts everywhere, colleges everywhere. I mean, it's a premium event, and you're playing the best dudes in the country, hands down, all day long, right? So you're just competing your butt off. You're having to work every count, every pitch, everything matters. The competition's that good, so it's great competition to kind of see where you're at, right? Being able to compete with the best is always great.
Yeah. And then the last one I got for you here, and I'll let you rest up for tomorrow's games. What we like to do when there's any player at all that is a committed player, we have probably kids of all ages that are going to be listening to this. What is something that you could tell, whether it's your younger self or someone else that wants to aspire to be what you are, a commitment to University of Vanderbilt? What is something that was key for you in your development in your life that has been able to help you get to this point that you're at today?
Yeah, I kind of said it earlier. Self-belief and like positive self-talk is massive. Training your body, being more physical, hitting the weight room is obviously huge. I'm not dissing on that, but the mental side of baseball it'll consume you, right? Having an 0 for 20 stretch will ruin you if you're not mentally strong. So that's a kind of a huge stride I took from my freshman year to sophomore year. Was working on the mental side of the game. With that's meditation, visualization, whatever it is, and then kind of like what I'm learning, spreading it to other people, right? Social media is a big part of that. Just like in Brother Rice, right? Like talking to other guys about it, having accountability partners, building good habits, building routines, all that is huge. I heard this quote. I keep telling all my buddies, but I got to tell you guys, it's if you want to start balling, you got to be all in. So I think that's a really good one. Kind of being all in, right? Being committed to the grind. Kind of talked about it, summed it up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Broder, we appreciate you coming on for us. Obviously, we are thrilled anytime we get to have you on. Congratulations once again on the commitment, and best of luck this weekend, next year, and beyond when you get down to Vanderbilt.
All right, great conversation there with Broder. Always nice to see perspectives from across the state, whether it's someone who's playing at the highest level like him or those who are striving to get there. Always nice to hear perspectives and get stories on how kids go about their business. So, all good stuff. But we got another exciting partnership to talk to you guys about here at Cold Weather Bass. We've already talked about it a couple episodes ago. Pison, who we've partnered with, they have this awesome technology, this wearable wristband that tracks just about everything needed to be most prepared for your games. It enhances the senses and gets you ready for that big moment coming in the seventh inning when your team needs it most. Tell us about your experience, Michael, because you've had one. They sent you one, and you've had the opportunity to work with it. How have you liked it so far?
Yeah, so I've had it about, I'd say about 2 weeks now, and it does everything you just kind of said. If you're out there listening and you're familiar with the other activity trackers, it does that. It tracks your steps, your strain, your body readiness, your strain recovery. Like I said, it does your sleep. Somehow, I still don't understand how it knows when you are asleep or in REM or any of that. It's really cool, way above my head. But what it does is, there's these tests that it can do, and they do 3 different tests. It's a readiness test, an agility test, and a focus test. And this is what really separates Pison from the rest, and it's what really has given me that extra, the extra data to help myself in many ways. So with the readiness test, it's going to measure your cognitive speed. It doesn't measure how you pronunciate words, so I'm still working on that part. The agility test, it measures your faster decision making. So for this one in specific, the agility test is, imagine you're in the box and you're hitting. And it's, in essence, what this is, it's a go, no go test. So what this is going to do is it's going to measure your reaction time to be able to know, do I swing at this pitch or am I taking it? Is it a fastball or is it a curveball? So you're able to see to the millisecond what your agility test is. And then your focus test, for those of you that have really poor attention spans, it is able to help improve that and measure that. The biggest thing that I've already been able to see is, with these tests, it tells me, if I've had too much caffeine or if I didn't get enough sleep. It's already telling me figures of how to improve some of these tests, so I can be more attentive, whether it's with work or with baseball, whatever it might be, and really to maximize my abilities during that day. So that's just the mind portion of what it's able to do. Obviously, with the body portion, with the body readiness and the strain recovery, it does a heck of a lot as well. It tells you if you had a lot of stress the night before and you didn't sleep well, maybe take it easy that day a little bit more if possible. So it does a heck of a lot. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at what they are able to have, we encourage all of those out there listening to us with cold weather bats to head on over to the website we have with them. You can access this on any of our socials. You'll find it, but also you can go to pison.com/cold-weather-bats, and you're able to get right onto the website. If all that's too confusing, like I said, go to the social medias, go to our website. It's linked on our website as well. And really, you're able to learn all about it. For those of you that are familiar with the old saying that baseball is 90% mental, well, now you got a tool that can really help you train that. And I'm not just saying this because we're working with them, but I've been wearing this. I've been seeing it. My attentiveness, how I am with my reactiveness and my readiness has improved already. So imagine what it can do for you if you're a high school athlete, or really if you're just anyone out there. You're able to get the device, you're able to get the app, all for one cost. You're able to get it for 10% off using promo code CWB10 on the website. So feel free to go onto the website, take a look at it, learn more about it. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out to us. We've been using this for a while. We're glad to partner with them, and we're really excited to see everything that they can do and then some. I know, Brandon, you are still sitting there waiting for yours. I know that's something that they're trying to get some more sent out to us. So I know you can use it, and our other guys as well can get it and use it and see how it works for them as well.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I think, when we started this whole thing, we really wanted to focus on things that help the players. And I think being at the front of new innovations in the game and training tools that, not only emphasize but enhance player development, I think we're acting in the best interests of the players. And I think this is something that really helps them and elevates their game. Is it new? Is it different? Is it unique? Yes. Is it Perfect. I don't know. I haven't used it. I couldn't tell you. I would imagine it's not like any other new product, but stop being afraid of trying new things. Um, educate yourself on what it can do for you, make an informed decision on whether it's best for you or not, and go from there. I think if you look into it, the cost benefit of the whole thing is very beneficial to a player. When I was your age type of deal, this is going to sound very unkish, as the kids would say. But when I was your age, I wish I had technology like this. And I was in high school literally 11 years ago, 12 years ago, coming up
Yeah.
here soon. But I guess at this stage, we're in the next school year. So really 12 years since I've been in school. But back then, like, that seems like not a short time for maybe some parents listening. For kids, that seems like, a different earth. But we didn't have anything like this. And we were in the technology era at that point, and so the advancements that have come over these years be on the other side of don't be on the other side of appreciation, and be grateful for the opportunities that you have and go make the most of them is my advice. I'm not saying go out there and drop $300 on something that you're unsure of. I think go in there and drop, how much is it? What's the price point? 249,
It's 239, and
239.
they'll get it out the door with 10% off of that. So, for those that are listening, I agree with everything you just said. I mean, as you know, Brandon, I'm a techie. I live
Right,
for
big time.
technology,
Yeah.
and this kind of thing. If I would have had this in high school or even in college, I would have been head first into something like this. Like, whatever I can do to get that extra advantage, I would be doing it. And it's the biggest thing we've always said, and we've biggest thing I always tell my players and my organization is it's not what you do at practice. Everyone goes to practice.
Right.
You get extra work. You do the extra things to take that extra, that get that extra 5% of what you can get out of yourself. This is something that can do that for you as a player, and it's really worth giving it a shot and going headfirst into it and seeing what it can do for you. And it's literally, it's just a bracelet. Like, it's nothing crazy. It doesn't, it looks cool. They're working on even making it more slim as well, from what I can understand from talking with them. They're doing a really great job trying to make this available for everybody as well. So, if you're out there listening, well, let's see who else wears this. Name Max Clark, ring a bell. That's one of their big
Right.
ambassadors.
Right.
If you follow even other minor leagues, Connor Griffin, I believe he might be the number one prospect in baseball. Don't quote me on that. He actually is. Just so he's another one that's a big proponent of them as well. It's a really great product, and whether you're a player, a parent, or honestly, if you're a coach, there's a lot more advantages that we won't go into that can help you as a team, as well as a coach for your team. So, would love to talk with anyone that wants to learn more about any of this.
Yeah. Well, with all that said, I think that just about wraps us up for the week. I had a lot jam packed in there. Michael, why don't you just tell everybody where they should follow us, and we'll see you guys around next time.
Well, if you haven't yet, make sure that you go on and like, comment, subscribe, share it with everyone you know, so they're able to get our podcast, get all of our information. Go find us on any social media. You'll see in the bottom left corner at Cold Weather Bats of your screen here. We will be coming out tomorrow with the next iteration of our rankings. So you will see 85 through 80 coming out on our Patreon. Brandon, that link is
Patreon.com/coldweatherbats.
perfect. And for those of you that are looking for the link, go to our socials to see everything there. Other than that, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next week.